According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 50,000 to 100,000 women worldwide are affected by obstetric fistula every year. It is estimated that more than 2 million young women live with untreated obstetric fistula in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. Obstetric fistula, which the Global Health Body describes as one of the most serious and tragic childbirth injuries, is a hole or tear between the birth canal and the bladder, or between the birth canal and the rectum, and sometimes the tear can affect both organs, leaving the woman unable to control urine and fecal matter. Fistula is caused by prolonged obstructed labor without access to timely, high-quality medical treatment. The most affected women live in underdeveloped and developing countries where there is poor maternal health services, poverty, and retrogressive cultural practices such as female genital mutilation, early marriage, and childbirth.
Experts say that about 90% of fistula cases are treatable. I wanted to find out why someone would suffer so much for years from a condition that can be corrected in a day. My quest takes me to the Kenyatta National Hospital. I'm here to speak to a man who has been performing fistula surgeries for more than a decade, one among the few in the country.
I go in with an aim to close that fistula and close it well enough that it heals and that makes the woman continent.
We meet Dr. Hissa on one of his busiest days in a week that he has had fistula surgeries scheduled back to back. It is 3:30 p.m. in the evening and he still has an ongoing surgery, so we are permitted to quietly join him in this theatre to watch him perform this life-changing procedure. What we find here can be likened to a battleground, with an army of soldiers putting on a fierce fight to restore the dignity of women. It's not a battle for the faint-hearted, and I had to keep my distance. It's bloody, sweaty, detailed, and requires a great mastery of a team of skilled medical experts. I am inside the main theatre at the Kenyatta National Hospital, witnessing a fistula corrective surgery that is currently ongoing. We have been here for more than an hour. For many, this might appear like an ordinary surgery, but for patients who have battled with fistula in the society, this is actually what they need to get a new lease of life, to gain back their stolen dignity, to end the stigma, the shame, and the solitude of suffering from fistula. With a lack of information around the availability and success rate of fistula treatment, I wanted to find out how effective it is.
And the surgery that we performed is mainly to restore the continence of either stool or urine for this woman, and with the hope that it's going to restore her dignity.
Dr. Hissa, however, acknowledges that the number of fistula patients who can access such treatment is still a drop in the ocean.
On average, 1,000 new women developing with fistula in Kenya, and we're only able to help up to about 30% per year.
It costs between 30,000 to 100,000 Kenyan shillings to get a skilled fistula corrective surgery, a cost many patients cannot afford. It's treatable, but people suffer even for 60 years, 50 years a woman has been suffering from this condition.
The worst thing that can happen, women get mentally depressed, and since they have no access to information that such a service is available, they kind of seclude themselves quietly.
In a bid to control the backlog of untreated fistula cases, the Kenyatta National Hospital has been running a program to offer free and sponsored corrective surgery to patients annually. But even that is not enough to meet the growing demand.
We couldn't have gone nationally to mobilize women who have fistula to come forth because of the pandemic. Otherwise, this would be a big crowd.
Curious to understand the struggles fistula patients go through dealing with the condition and the experience in seeking treatment, I visit Dandora Estate in Nairobi. Here we meet Victoria Wanjiru, a survivor of rectovaginal fistula. She is 23 years old and says getting pregnant at 19 years made her go through the worst experience of her life.
And before I knew it, kuna organs zilikuwa zinaanza kutoka nje. So hizi organs ilikuwa the bladder, the uterus and the cervix. So hapo na hapo I could not control my bowel movements, nikapata incontinence of urine and stool. And that was the beginning of everything.
As a first-time mum, young and inexperienced, nursing such intimate physical wounds was just too much, and the stigma was real.
Nili withdraw kabisa from the crowd and all, because unakaanga tu najiambia nanuka.
She knew she needed help urgently, but that too was not easy to find, prolonging her agony.
Daktari kukuja saa 9 jioni, nurses walini-examine na wakanieka akifika nione wa kwanza. Kufika tu hivi hata hakutaka kuniangalia mara mbili. Aliniambia he cannot examine me. Na akasema next.
It was until she visited the Kenyatta National Hospital that she was diagnosed with fistula. Her case was severe and she had to undergo a series of corrective surgeries to fix her complication. Surgeries, she says, put her at risk of losing her ability to ever have another child.
Sasa nilikuwa nasemanga kwangu lazima watoto watakuwa tu wako tu all over the place. Alafu naniambia nimepata mtoto mmoja alafu nataka kutoa uterus yangu. Nikaambia daktari hapana, hiyo haiwezekani kabisa. I'd rather nikuwe nairudisha tu na mkono, nitaishi hivyo. Akaniambia kuna an option lakini ni expensive. Akaniambia kuna mesh inaweza ekwa huku nyuma kwa sacrum kwa mgongo, easy hold, asiza mesh. Lakini hiyo mesh haiko Kenya. Lazima importiwe. So mimi nikaambia daktari wacha tungangane na hiyo, hata kama iko expensive, hata kama hatujui do itatoka wapi. Acha niende na hiyo option.
After spending several months in and out of hospital, she was finally reunited with her baby and began her long journey to recovery. Today we know about Victoria because she came out to speak about her condition and sought help. But according to Sharon Korir, a fistula advocate and founder of Save a Woman Fistula Foundation, there are thousands of fistula patients who continue to suffer in silence.
The statistics range 30,000 to 300,000. Many women, who probably are looking with nowhere to talk to, no hope, what to do, nothing.
As a survivor of fistula, she knows too well where the shoe pinches.
I'm a typical sanguine. I love people. I love to talk. I love to interact, but I was secluded. I didn't want anybody to visit my second baby. I didn't tell my sisters about it. I didn't tell my father about it because I didn't know how to start telling them I'm leaking urine and feces. Very difficult to do so, especially in this cultural setup.
She decries the lack of information and misconceptions about the condition.
It's a taboo. What did you do to somebody? You need to go back to the drawing board and ask your family members where in the lineage you went wrong so that you can make peace with people, because it's leaking stool from the vagina and urine is not normal.
Sharon and Victoria may have been lucky to get their stolen dignity restored through corrective surgery, but the fate of thousands of fistula patients who have never heard of such treatments or cannot afford it is different.
Medical cover does not cover child-related injuries, sadly, in this country. So back again to your pocket. So my question is, how many women are able to afford? Right? How many women are able to afford to pay for themselves private doctors to do these surgeries? And then again, how many Kenyans are able to be in Kenyatta Hospital?
Every pain births a story. Sharon Korir has set up an organization that amplifies the fistula agenda and offers refuge to fistula patients.
So we're here to create awareness, fistula education and outreach, just to be able to let people know that it is there and it's treatable. And then again, after these women go through counseling, through mental healing, we help them again after the surgeries and the mental healing to go back where? To go back to the respective homes to do what? To get reintegrated, to get acceptance without discrimination.
Victoria, on the other hand, has joined in the fight against teenage pregnancy, a menace she says is common in the informal settlements, maintaining that no girl deserves to relive her harrowing experience.
Naitwa Positive Young Women Voices, hapa penye tuko sahihi ni ofisi yetu. So hapo ndio na volunteer, tunasaidia kumenta adolescent girls and young women, na tunawasaidia in terms of sexual reproductive health, vitu kama hizo.
And as the world marks the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula under the theme Women's Rights are Human Rights, End Fistula Now, addressing misinformation and bridging the gap of inequality of access to fistula treatment will remain pivotal if the global vision of ending fistula by 2030 is to be realized. Reporting for Channel One News, I'm Serfine Achieng, Oma.